Aloha, I'm Lyla Berg, and we're here at the Kroc Center, Hawaii, ready to meet the people who inform, inspire, and impact our daily lives. Thank you for joining us on Island Focus. This is your chapel, but it looks like it's a multi-purpose area.
It is. Every Sunday, we primarily have services here, 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. under the leadership of Majors Phil and Debbie Lum, children's ministries and such as well.
And other activities that you have here?
Yes, our internal programs benefit from the auditorium. It seats 500, and we're really blessed to have our Kroc Dance Academy have the recitals here. Our orchestra and hula have also done.
So your internal programs have their performances?
Absolutely, yes.
Including your early childhood, your preschool graduation, I heard.
Yes, every year, every year.
And the third group that operates here, or that can use this facility?
Yes, so the community comes here on a regular basis. We rent this facility out, generally on the weekends. We've had different dance companies, Pare Du and Hyper Squad, visit the facility as well.
Fabulous. You know, it must be very exciting for you to come in to work, you know, knowing that it's not only activities that are happening, but also people gathering here together.
Yes, definitely. They'll come here. A lot of families will come. Siblings, grandparents will enjoy the children and see them grow in their art and the talents that they have.
And coming from the philosophy of Salvation Army filling need, it definitely fills the need of creativity.
Absolutely, yes. Some children are discovering these talents at a very young age through the Kroc Center and the programs we have here.
Well, thank you so much. Beautiful facility.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm with Rick Ahn, who is the Ministry Director here at the Kroc Center, Hawaii. Thank you for joining us. Ministry Director, what a great responsibility, and I think joy for you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like you said, joy is really what it's all about. The Kroc Center is here to help people, everyone in our community, rediscover that joy in life that maybe they lost because of the busyness of life, the hard things of life.
Well, and on surface, this looks like a recreational center. We hear children coming from the pool, and we see crafts going on and seniors walking around. From a ministry perspective, because it is funded by the Salvation Army.
Yes.
Right? What do you find is the most significant part, not just of your job, but of the center here in Kapolei?
We have been strategically placed here. The history of the Salvation Army has always been to go where the need is the greatest. Obviously, we're on the west side, on the leeward side, where resources are more limited. So this center here really is a gift to this community to help everybody in this community to just rediscover their passion in life, their joy in life. And we get to be a part of that, and it's such an incredible privilege for us to do so.
I would imagine it's a bit challenging because driving into town in the morning and driving back through the traffic, joy sometimes leaves in traffic.
That's part of the struggle we're talking about. And, it's really incredible how people, in spite of the busyness of life, they will make their way here. We open really early in the morning at 4:30 a.m. And a lot of our members will come to, again, just work out and just to get refreshed before that grueling journey ahead of them for the day. And then at the end of the day, hundreds, if not thousands of people will come here in the evenings to, whether they swim or they'll come with their families, with their children, they'll play in the game room, again, just to find that rest and that refreshing that they need for life.
Well, and when we talk about refreshing and rest, what kind of activities from a ministry perspective do you do here?
We have traditional ministry opportunities, like we do services and we do a lot of spiritual teachings, Bible studies, if you would, during the week. At the same time, we consider things like art classes and dance and taking swim lessons part of that spiritual journey, because it's really, that's what we believe God designed all of us for. It's not just all things spiritual, but it's the mind and the body. So we see all different avenues of people finding, again, their place and their purpose.
And the senior citizens must love to come here.
Absolutely. Since you mentioned that, we had recently a a kupuna sock hop. And it
Sock
was
hop.
a sock hop, yeah, and it was so cute how the kupuna came in their
They
poodle
wore socks.
skirts and their jeans and their white muscle t-shirts. And we had about 80 to 100 kupuna here. And one of the most touching things from that, besides all the fun, was one of the seniors came up to me to thank me. And I don't know why she was thanking me, but she basically said, you know, since my spouse passed away, this was the first time I felt alive. And that's what it's all about. It's helping people to just, again, like I said, rediscover the joy and passion in life that they maybe once had.
Yeah, well, you know, thank you so much. If there's a parting message you would like to give to communities wanting to engage and support their residents, what would that be?
Yeah, you know, I think it's really important that people, wherever you live, have a place to go and belong. We've been fortunate to develop this Kroc Center for the fastest growing community in the state. But that's so important for every community to have a hub or maybe a place where you can go and be part of a bigger ohana versus your own. So we're blessed to do that here. If we can help other communities in any way, we would love to share what we've done here for the benefit of everybody in Hawaii.
A contemporary pu'uhonua,
Yeah,
a refuge.
love that.
Thank you for joining us,
Thank
then.
you.
We've just had the opportunity to meet Rick Ahn, who is the ministry director here at the Kroc Center, Hawaii. Aloha. Mahalo for tuning in to Island Focus and joining me in meeting Senoia Marvel, who is the Chief Program Officer with INPEACE. Glad you could be with us. INPEACE, what a fabulous name. Can you explain a little bit more about what it stands for and what your programs are?
Sure. INPEACE stands for the Institute for Native Pacific Education and Culture. We're a Native Hawaiian nonprofit organization statewide. We're on 4 islands, and we have many different programs. Our areas of focus are around educational equity and teacher development, early learning and school readiness, as well as financial capabilities and economic sustainability.
You know, my familiarity with INPEACE has to do with early childhood and also the relationship between parents and children. That's very important for your organization and particularly for your role.
It's important because we feel that the success for our children, for them to succeed, is based around our ohana unit. And so if we can continue to educate and to provide opportunities and resources for the families, then the children will succeed.
So it must be very comfortable for you to be in the Kroc Center here with their vision of building community in a more urban, suburban setting.
We have had many events here as an organization, and we try to partner with the Kroc Center as much as possible.
So maybe you could describe a little bit about what that partnering would look like, not just with the Kroc Center, but being on neighbor islands as well.
We really look for the need, and communities come to us with the need that they see within their community. And so it might be early childhood education, it might be financial capabilities, economic development. It kind of depends on what the community needs. And then we further discuss how we might go about in creating programs for those communities.
You know, at this time in the world when there is so little peace or peace is in jeopardy, how do you integrate that idea of peace in the work that you do?
I think when we think about peace and this idea of maluhia, right, in Hawaiian, it's really around the family dynamic and do they have the supports in place that they need in order to have that peace. And so what we bring as an organization is that support. We hold hands, we make sure that we are walking step by step with them and making sure that they know that we are there. You know, a lot of the times people think like you may be enabling that individual, but really the way that we look at it is if we have their back, and we need them to know that we got their back and they can depend on us in every single step that they take.
Well, and you also mentioned professional development.
Yes.
Not teacher training, I guess, is part of it, and adult learning.
From our perspective, we want our keiki, when they are going into school, we want them to believe that the teacher believes in them. We want them to see themselves in the teachers that are educating them. And we also want the teachers to be able to see themselves in the students, that they were once that age. And so how do we provide the opportunities and the needs that teachers need in today's world to be able to have them succeed and to be able to give them all the tools that they need to help students to succeed.
I would imagine, especially the kindergarten teachers, would be very grateful to have some support because ordinarily early childhood learning and preparation and skills is not integrated within teacher training.
Right.
How does that work?
Again, we definitely talk to our principals and our complex area superintendent to kind of look at the needs of the teachers. We also have peer mentor groups, and we have opportunities where we convene folks who have graduated from our programs who are now teaching in the Department of Education and Early Childhood Education classrooms to see what is it now that you need. You've gone through the process, you are licensed, are certified, you're in those schools, what do you need now? And so based on that, we are able to look for the resources that we need to make sure that we can provide those opportunities.
And specifically meet what you can provide with the needs of the people.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for the time that you've given, and look forward to hearing more about the success of your programs.
Mahalo yaoi.
You've just had the opportunity to meet Sanoe Marvel, who is the Chief Program Officer with INPEACE. Mahalo for joining us. Here with us today at the Kroc Center, Hawaii, is Representative Val Okamoto. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure.
And as a first term elected official, former teacher.
Correct.
This isn't even your district, but we're here because this represents community.
The beautiful part is I've been invited to events on the side of the island supporting the UH West Oʻahu campus. A lot of the people in my district come here to this side of the island, and I think the beauty of being a state legislator is, although I am very tied into my district, I love that I represent all of Hawaii.
And it's really fun to learn about
Yes.
other areas, which I imagine is one of the reasons you ran for office, is to be part of the process.
It is. You know, I think after I became a mother, I really wanted to be involved more in community issues. Something happens when you have children of your own. It's not about you anymore. It's about what happens to the better of, the future of my children. And definitely being in the state legislature, it opens up a wide variety of issues that I'm aware of, things I can be aware of, for not just my keiki, but for all children. And being aware of these issues will help me in my position. But also, I think probably the proudest thing I am about being, here on Earth is just about being a mother. That title is more important to me than being a legislator.
I agree, and it actually holds much more weight and responsibility.
And probably harder on a day-to-day basis, yes.
So the different committees that you're on in the Ledge.
So I currently serve on the Lower and Higher Education Committee, which is my passion. I did come from being a special education teacher for 10 years within the DOE system. So that's something that will always be a passion of mine. I was able to serve this past session on the Agriculture and Tourism Committee. And coming up into the next legislative session, I will also continue being on the Lower and Higher Education, but most likely be on Transportation and Tourism. So I'm excited for that. I will have to say that doing this was probably the most frightening thing I've ever done in my life, even scarier than being a first-time mother. The reason I really wanted to get into the legislature because I feel I represent the everyday person. I'm a mom. I was a teacher, and I wanted to bring that value back into the legislature, which I feel, just in talking to constituents or people around the state, there was like a disconnect between people in elected positions and the community. So going in, that's what I really wanted to do, just to be able to be that voice for my community, for people in other communities. I was born and raised on the island of Kauai, local girl, and a lot of my roots and my upbringing is really tied into that island. And I'm grateful for the values that were instilled in me, and I take that with me in every aspect of my life, and I wanted to take that with me to the legislature as well.
And now at this time in the international scene, not only national and local scene, there's so much conflict, and there's so many disagreements over what we would think in Hawaii are very basic questions. Take care of the land, take care of people, take
Right.
care of the environment. How are you navigating through those discussions over there?
I always want to be respectful. I actually lived in a foreign country. I did a service mission. So I know of international, affairs. I have family and friends in the mainland. But the beauty of Hawaii, I feel, is that we have a special culture here. And I think that despite our differences, we can be respectful. And for the most part, we try to be respectful of each other's differences and listen to other sides that maybe differ from what our views are in a respectful manner. So when things come up, both nationally and internationally, I like to just always come back to how are we here? And you know that the aloha spirit and the culture here always ties back to who we are. And those are the values that I grew up with. I'm sure you did on the neighbor island as well. And that's what I hold on to.
If you had some reassurance to the public to make as an elected official, what would that be?
I would just tell the public that there are really great, people that want to serve the community. Somebody like me, I really am doing this because I aspire to help the community, not for title or position. I want them to pay attention to who their representatives are. Challenge them, ask them these questions. We're put into office and we should be held accountable. And I don't, turn away any challenge or question if I don't know the answer. I encourage people to come to me and we'll find the answers. But I really want people to know that I'm just like them, an everyday person that's working hard. I'm a mom, I'm a teacher, somebody that wants to do good in the community.
And go vote.
Go vote. Register and please vote.
Go vote.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us
Thank
today.
you.
I appreciate your time.
It's my pleasure.
You've just had the opportunity to meet Representative Val Okamoto from the Mililani District. Appreciate you being with us. This is a fabulous gym.
It is an NCAA regulation-sized gymnasium sponsored by Clarence T.C. Ching when the center was first put together. So we have an honorarium for him outside as well. We have internal programming that happens here, a Kroc program that does basketball and volleyball. And we also do some soccer and archery outside.
Well, and it's pretty obvious looking at the pictures behind you, that there's many different sports. It's not just the Salvation Army. Weinberg is involved.
Yes.
T.C. Ching, other organizations also contribute to these first-class facilities.
Yes, and without them, I don't believe we'd have these facilities. Their support for the organization and also the programming here has been wonderful.
Well, it's very exciting to walk into a community location where you know that there's just almost no limit to what they can experience.
Yes, there's very few indoor gymnasiums here in the Kapolei and Ewa Beach area. We are one of them. So different schools have used us as practice centers, such as Island Pacific Academy. Every year they come back and have their volleyball practices here.
And so not only public schools or private schools and community organizations, individuals as well, right?
So we have open gym time every Monday and Wednesday. Our members, and it's open to the community, will do pickup basketball games here. And Tuesdays and Thursdays in the evening, we have pickup volleyball.
It's fabulous.
Yes.
It's very exciting to be here. Thank you for joining me in my conversation with Kip Lilburn, who is the Executive Artistic Director for Manoa Valley Theater. Aloha. What a wonderful place you work at.
It's a very wonderful place. We've been in Manoa for 50 years. It's our 51st season this year. And our community's been fantastic to us. We're that little theater in the cemetery in the old Kawaiʻi Mission building.
When we think of theater, people who are not comfortable acting or performing in themselves, but maybe enjoy watching, there's a mystery to this field. Maybe you can demystify that.
It is. I mean, people always say, don't you get afraid when you go out on stage? Well, yes, sometimes. Sometimes, and I tell young actors or singers, I say, just think about what you're doing. Focus on what you're doing and just be in that. And then all of a sudden, the scene's over, and you've been there. You've been transported into this other place.
So when you think about working your role, when you're in your role, your responsibilities, do you work with young actors?
Not as much as I would like, and that's why we're starting an education program at MVT. I feel like that we're doing arts with a purpose, And one of our purposes is to use this fully orbed world where we have construction, we have electricians, we have designers, we have business people, and being able to take young people and give them an opportunity, train them in those different places, and also train them as Ron Bright, who was a huge influence on me, said, I'm more interested in creating really good people than good performers. And I think that's a big thing that we have a responsibility to accomplish, or at least to give it a shot.
So maybe you could speak a little more on that, about developing good people, especially because in the public school system and even private schools, the first areas that are cut are the artistic areas, not just graphic arts, but dance, bands, and music. So how does performing arts develop the goodness in people?
Those things do get cut, and it's such a shame, because there's so much data that says that students who are involved in the arts, they do better in their STEM classes. So I kind of think of us as STEM-ha. We're STEM plus humanities and the arts. Okay. And in the theater, we have, as you know, the show must go on. So we have a built-in clock. What that does is that then people working on the show, they have to be prompt, they are task-oriented, they have to accomplish it, because on November 14th, the show opens.
They have to work together with others.
Right. Constantly problem solving, because you never know what a set's going to be like or what the personalities are going to be like.
What was the favorite play that you've acted in?
You know, I spent about a year and a half in Phantom of the Opera, first as Raoul, then as the Phantom.
Here in Hawaii?
This is in the resident production, the resident company in Toronto.
Okay.
There were 3 resident companies, Toronto, New York, and London.
So you're a singer as well as an actor?
Yes.
Okay.
And that was a great ride. That was a lot of fun. And then on the other side, because opera was most of my career, Otello was just hands down the thing that I had more fun doing than anything else.
Specifically for the theater, how can we get people more involved to work there, to try out, to be in it, and to attend?
That's a great question, but I want to address it from why should they? And currently we have so much division in so many different ways. And the theater is a place where we come together, and it's our humanity that joins us, regardless of whether you're from a conservative or liberal political bent or particular ethnic background or religious background. It doesn't matter. We're telling human stories in the theater, and that's what makes us all together. And so it's a great opportunity to explore that, because we all have humanity, whether we're telling about somebody's struggle through something or if we're just making people laugh.
I love that, and I'm going to thank you as a parting comment for our interview today, because if people are laughing more, wouldn't that be fabulous?
That would be great.
And it takes the fear out of auditioning.
True.
Thank you very much for
Thank
joining
you.
us. We've just had the pleasure of meeting Kip Lilburn, who is the Executive Artistic Director at Manoa Valley Theater. Thank you for joining us. I'm here at the Kroc Center, Hawaii with Coach Mo Cole, who is with the University of Hawaii women's water polo team. Since when has this team been at the University of Hawaii?
It has been almost 25 years. It'll be the 25th year of the University of Hawaii water polo.
Explain a little bit more about your role as a coach there.
My role as a coach is to assemble the best group of girls I can and to help them grow in the water and out. My goal every day is to make sure they're being good student athletes, good citizens, and that at the end of the day are just selfless within the team.
And even though the program has been there for 25 years, is it considered a major sport now?
I'd like to think so. We have a lot of support from our department, which has been really nice, and our team has finished 5th in the country the last 2 years. So we're a strong program, and I think we get a lot of support within the department and the fan base. And as a whole, Hawaii water polo is growing, and it has been a high school sport for a number of years as well.
That's fabulous. And did you play this sport too?
I did. I played the first season of women's water polo at Pono High School in 1990. Well, don't want to date myself, but a while ago.
And then you went on to college.
I did. I went on to UCLA and won 3 championships there, and then went on to play at the national team level. And then ever since I graduated from UCLA in 2005, I've been back coaching at the University of Hawaii.
So I know you mentioned just a moment ago that you're developing the young women's character and who they are in the world. But the skill of playing water polo itself it's gigantic.
It takes a lot of time and discipline. It's not just, I don't want to say just, but swimming laps is really, really hard. But then to add swimming and wrestling and the shooting that you have to be able to do, the leg strength, and then on top of that, the tactics, it takes a lot of time and just discipline and love for the sport to be able to be really good at it.
How might you encourage young women to enter the field?
It's really fun. I mean, if you like aggression and you like being physical, it's a sport for you as well as swimming. I think that it's a lot of fun to watch. I mean, it's a dynamic game and it's physical. The goal scoring is exciting. It's back and forth. It's just a really fun sport to watch. It's nice because you're in and out in an hour and 15 minutes, and you're not there for 4 or 5 hours long. So you can get a lot of action in a short amount of time.
What is the composition of the team?
Our team truly is a melting pot, just like Hawaii. We have 7 different countries on our team, and I think that just really teaches the girls how to speak to one another, that everyone isn't the same, and they learn a lot from each other, have a lot of fun laughing about just different terminologies and learning the local way with a couple local girls on our team. And we have 2 really special girls from Hawaii, from Maui actually. Lalale Mata'afa and Rebecca Gallimore. Lalale Mata'afa has been just developing. She's a redshirt junior this year, and she'll be our starting center. And she is one of the most athletic people I've ever coached. The other one has moved like I've never seen anyone move in the water. They're so athletic. So it's really fun to watch them grow with the sport and with this team. And I think that special things are in store for Waihinei Water Polo and for the 2 of them.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your enthusiasm and your talent and your background, and also to encourage us to pay attention to the women's water polo team.
Thank you for having me.
Just had the pleasure of meeting Coach Mo Cole, who is with University of Hawaii women's water polo team. Mahalo. Mahalo to the Kroc Center Hawaii for hosting us today, and to you for tuning in to Island Focus. I'm Lyla Berg. Aloha and malama pono. Take care of each other. See you soon.